All right, today we're going to be answering the question of should you get your ex back? Now, to be honest with you, this is a really fascinating question to me because, well, it's a controversial one. Depending on who you ask, everyone is going to have a different opinion on it. And so rather than taking a gigantic stance on it, I would like to just show you how we tend to approach a question like this. All right, so first things first, we need to talk about kind of the negative stigma or the idea behind wanting to get an ex back. This is ultimately why society doesn't agree with it. Often you'll talk to your friends or you talk to your family and they'll look at you really weird when you tell them that you're thinking or considering getting an ex back, and they'll say to themselves, why would you ever want that person back? And it all stems from a concept that society believes, falsely, I might add. And that concept is, once you break up with an ex, a reconciliation won't ever work out. Now, let's talk about the negative stigma. I'm split on this because I have seen it work out time and time and time again, but I've also seen it not work out. And so if I'm going to be honest with you, around half of the people that we have helped get back together have broken up with their exes again and either have gotten back with that ex again or moved on to someone else. So there's literally a 50% chance of you getting your ex back and breaking up with them again. Now I will say that since the 10 years I've been doing this, we have seen quite a few situations where an ex gets back together and gets engaged or even married. I would consider that a success. I don't know about you, but that is also a sign that things can work out. And I think really when we're really talking about this, it really kind of comes down to your friends or family. Oftentimes, you can have the idea of wanting to get an ex back, but your own sphere of influence, the people who you surround yourself with, whose opinions that you care about, are not in agreement with this idea. They'll think it's toxic, or they think it won't work, or they'll have an opinion about it. Usually people who think it's toxic or won't work are drawing from their own personal experiences where they tried to get an ex back, or they did successfully get an ex back and it was just awful. And then sometimes I've seen people who have never tried to get an ex back or even wanted to get an ex back, and they always have an opinion until they find themselves in your exact situation where they go through a breakup and want an ex back themselves. Now ultimately, I'm on the stance of do whatever you can do so that you feel confident with the choices you've made when you put your head down on the pillow at the end of the night. So if you always know you're going to regret at least not trying to get your ex back, then you should try to give it your best chance. But if you don't really care about getting your ex back, or it was just a weak moment, then probably don't get your ex back. Now, with that being said, we have identified certain types of exes who it's in your best interest not to get back with for a variety of reasons. Obviously, there are some situational circumstances where it's not a good idea to get your ex back. And then there's situations where we have identified types of exes who are likely to lead to another breakup. Again, we want to help you avoid this as much as humanly possible. So what are these types of exes that you should really stay away from that are really bad news? Well, the first one is like the most obvious one. If there's any kind of physical or emotional abuse going on, we do not ever condone getting someone like this back. You're better off running for the hills and never looking back. So now that we have kind of the obvious sort of ex to not get back out of the way, let's take a look at the exes that you should not get back when you want them back, because you'll just end up breaking up again. Now the first type of ex is the chronic cheater. This is an ex who's cheated on you multiple times before, and I hate to break it to you, but if there's a history of cheating either with you or with other relationships, it's likely to happen again. The second type of ex is the overly narcissistic type of ex, where it's all about them all the time. Look, this is my best piece of advice for you. Go to Google, type in what is narcissism, and look at the types of behaviors narcissistic people exhibit. If your ex fits those to a T, don't get them back. And then we have the act on evil impulses ex. Now, acting on evil impulses is something that we have unfortunately seen in our private Facebook group, and this is the type of ex who almost wants revenge or hates you so much that they're willing to go be with someone else, take a picture of making out with that someone else, and sending the picture to you. If an ex is doing these type of things, stay away from them. And then of course we have the overly controlling exes. Now I've actually done a video where I talked about the types of exes you should not be trying to get back. And when I talked about overly controlling exes, I'm not talking about controlling behavior in small ways. I'm talking about ridiculously controlling behavior. For example, if you go to the bathroom at your ex's house and you are using the bathroom and they come knock on the door and say, "What are you doing in there?" That's not really a good sign, because it means they are so insecure with themselves that they think by the fact that you're just simply taking a little bit longer time in the restroom, you're cheating on them by talking to someone else. This is irrational behavior and ridiculous. If your ex is controlling on that level to the where you won't have any personal space and they have to control who you talk to, what you wear, what you eat, get away from this person and do not try to get them back. And then finally, we have engaged exes. For morality reasons, it's just not a good idea to get back an ex who's been engaged. Now, some people will argue with me on this. They will say it's not really a real deal until you have married that person. I disagree. It's a bad look. Don't try to get this person back. Real quick, I want to say that if you're new to this YouTube channel or you're trying to figure out what you should be doing to get your ex back and you're trying to learn if you even have a chance in your specific circumstance, probably the smartest thing for you to do is actually stop by our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, or take our Ex Recovery Chances quiz that can be found at exboyfriendrecovery.com. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, taking that free quiz is super easy to do. All you have to simply do is look in the description link below this YouTube video and click on the link you see there. It will take you directly to the quiz where you can fill it out and get an easy answer on what you should be doing going forward and overall what your chances look like in your specific situation. All right, so let's get you back to the video. But I've kind of danced around the truth here, which is, should you get your ex back? And I would always say that you should not make a decision on getting your ex back until you go through the gauntlet that we kind of have created. Now, the gauntlet is a newer concept that I've been sort of coining, and really it's been a hard one to describe to my clients. Luckily, last week I got an email from, I don't know if she's a client, I guess she had just watched a bunch of the YouTube videos or read a bunch of the articles or listened to the podcast, but she figured out the gauntlet. So I'm going to read her message to me word for word so that you can understand this concept for yourself. So again, I want to reiterate that this was a person that emailed me in support. This is not a success story. This is just someone who's going through their daily life, literally trying to get their ex back or interested in getting their ex back, and then they notice something about our program. So here we go. Hey Chris, no crazy success story here. I just wanted to compliment you on your brand and business. I'm actually so impressed. I feel like you do so well with knowing exactly what your target audience is searching for and wants. And then you give them what they need instead. It's a self-development program with a dangling carrot of getting an ex back together, which is such a big motivator for people who aren't motivated for themselves at the moment. I'm just honestly really impressed by the culture you've created and how you literally lead women, and men I might add, through this process so well. I was so hesitant to buy a manipulative program, laugh out loud, but the more I listen to videos and podcasts and engage with ERP, I'm like, dang, this is actually really cool and what so many of us need. Looking forward to coaching with Anna and learning and growing as much as I can through this. Just thank you. And way to go. Say a prayer for my cause. Laugh out loud. All right, so I guess I was wrong. She is a client because she's about to coach with Coach Anna, but here's the point I'm trying to make. You can come into this with doubts. You can come into this not really knowing if you want to get your ex back, but you just sort of want to live without regrets. But that's why we've kind of created our program. See, our program is designed to help you achieve a goal, getting your ex back. But what we've learned is getting an ex back, it's kind of counterintuitive. You need to start taking care of yourself first. You need to kind of do that self-development stuff first. So basically what we do is we run you through this gauntlet where we sort of ask you questions or make you do things that actively help you try to get over your ex. And if you still want your ex back after you've gone through our gauntlet, after we have hit you with every single question and conceivable sort of idea on helping you outgrow them, helping you move on from them, and you still want your ex back, it's probably a good idea to get them back because you will live with tons of regrets. But unfortunately, what we see happen is a lot of people either never finish the gauntlet or completely miss the point of the gauntlet. So let's talk about those two types of people. What about the people who never finish the gauntlet? Well, they buy the program, they read it a few times, they begin the gauntlet, and then it just becomes too hard, or they let their anxious behavior overtake them without ever trying to curb those anxious behaviors. And then you have the people who completely miss the point of the gauntlet. Essentially, these are the people who only think about the tactical approaches to winning an ex back. So oftentimes a no contact rule or the interpretation of a no contact rule is perfect for describing this type of person. See, what we've learned is that the intent you go into a no contact rule with matters more than anything else. Yes, the no contact rule can help you make your ex miss you, but what matters more than anything is the intent. The intent of going to a no contact rule shouldn't be trying to get an ex back. It should be putting all the focus on you and guess what? Outgrowing your ex. Now, the person who misses that point is only going to be focused on the fact, hey, if I ignore my ex for a certain amount of time, they're going to miss me. This also bleeds into things like the value ladder, like how you text your ex, what you're saying to your ex on your phone, when you call them, what you're saying to your ex when you see them in person. Everything is tactical and inauthentic. That is missing the point of the gauntlet. Now, luckily this gauntlet is designed for the best of both worlds, because if you go through our gauntlet, if you go through this sort of massive stress test where we're trying to basically make you not want your ex back anymore and you don't want your ex back anymore, you'll be happy. You'll have moved on from them. But if you go through the gauntlet and you still want your ex back, not only have you proven to yourself that yes, you care so much about your ex that you're willing to sort of answer or do all this soul searching in a hard way, it really kind of tests your mettle, and that will make all the difference when you actually start trying to get them back and implementing the strategies that we've created. So, to recap, should you get your ex back, you should only make a decision on if you get your ex back once you have gone through a gauntlet that basically helps you try to get over your ex. And if you cannot get over them by the time you've gone through the gauntlet that we've created, then you should try to get them back, so you live without regrets. But I guess I'm missing kind of an essential first step to this all, and that is first figuring out what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back before you even run through the gauntlet. Now, luckily on our website, www.exboyfriendrecovery.com, I've put together a special quiz that's helping you answer this exact question. Now, taking this ex recovery chances quiz is simple. Just look in the description below this YouTube video and click it. We'll take you directly to the quiz where we'll ask you a series of questions, and then once you answer those questions as authentically as possible, we'll give you an idea of what kind of chance you have of getting your ex back and a few of the essential next steps you should be taking. Also, if you haven't liked, commented, or subscribed to this YouTube channel, please do so. It really makes a difference. I'll see you guys next time.